At this party, it's a little more exclusive than most. Invitation had to be furry. It's not all fun and games, especially when there's $1 million on the line. 22 Ford NASCAR All-Star Race. Just one. Welcome to the NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Race from historic North Wilkesboro Speedway. 40 years ago, 45 minutes down the road from here, sports marketing executives and R.J. Reynolds came up with the Winston. And here we are, 40 years later, with today's edition, 200 laps, all laps count, overtime rules are in effect. A mandatory full-tire pit stop on or about lap 100, and another caution flag at lap 150 where pit stops are optional. Choice of tires. Everybody must start the race on the soft option tire, but you have a couple of sets of primaries, 2 sets of options. Good luck. We've explained it all to death, but what are we going to look for in this opening segment?
Well, I think that the most exciting part of the race could be right off the bat, Clint, because they have to start on the soft tires. We've seen some blisters on the right rear tires of some of these cars that ran in the open, and yesterday or Friday when we had practice, they definitely had some fall-off in them. So I think this first 100 laps could be interesting to see if anybody pits and tries to get those primary tires, or if the red tires and soft tires fall off enough.
Kevin, I'm so glad you picked the first 100 laps, because that's not the one that pays the bills. When that caution comes out with 50 to go, what they learned in that first 100 is what they're going to apply to that decision. And I think it's going to be a decision. What tires do they put on? Do they put the softs on? Do they put the primaries on? Do they put tires on at all? Do they stay out? That's the decision that's going to be the moneymaker. We've seen it all. This is the All-Star race. This is the best we got, ladies and gentlemen. They're all here, and they're lined up to put on a show.
I was just trying to get you on track, so I was just getting you started.
I wish I was on that track tonight. Look at this crowd.
What I like is that in the open, we saw not just a 1, not just a 2, but a 3-groove racetrack. This is going to be one fun night. Let's go trackside. This is the most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome NASCAR Hall of Famer and 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion crew chief, Chip Canals. Race fans, are you ready for the All-Star race? Drivers, start your engines!
Engines are fired and 200 laps of racing is set to begin at the North Wilkesboro Speedway under the lights in the 2024 NASCAR All-Star Race. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to KRC's edition of a live commentary of this 2024 NASCAR All-Star Race. 20 drivers set to go for $1 million grand prize. And as you heard there from the Fox Sports 1 booth with Mike Joy, Clint Boyer, and Kevin Harvick, there are 3 segments and 2 different tires that these teams will have to navigate throughout the course of the night. Everybody will be starting on the option soft tires, and at some point they will have to run the primaries and switch back, obviously, to the softs or the primaries in that final segment if they so choose. A mandatory 4-tire pit stop will be at the halfway mark at lap 100. There will be a caution at lap 100 and lap 150. So no mandatory pit stop on that second stage caution, I guess, if you will, at lap 150. But again, only 200 laps, all cautions count. I know in some all-star races, some exhibition races, the caution laps don't count, but the caution laps do count here this season. We'll go through the starting lineup for today's race. This is based off of qualifying yesterday morning, as the heat races last night had gotten rained out, unfortunately. Joey Logano on the pole for this one here today. Brad Keselowski outside of the front row in second. Ford trying to go to victory lane for back-to-back weeks. In row 2 will be Chris bonus during qualifying yesterday morning as well. It'll be Chris Buescher, who came so close to a win 2 weeks in a row, looking for a $1 million win here today. He'll line up on the inside of row 3. Tyler Reddick, who was also in the picture for that win late last weekend at Darlington, he'll be on the outside of that row. That'll be Ross Chastain and Martin Truex Jr. in row number 4. Truex, a former All-Star winner. Michael McDowell and AJ Allmendinger in row 5 after a good qualifying performance yesterday by both their pit crew and by the driver. Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson will be in row 6, but Larson has to drop to the rear for the start of the race as he did not qualify or practice his car this weekend. We obviously saw Kevin Harvick in that car to begin the weekend. Congratulations also to Kyle Larson for qualifying 5th in the Indy 500 earlier today. In row number 7, it'll be William Byron and Kyle Busch. Busch with 3 wins last season and 3 wins already this year for William Byron. Chase Elliott and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will be in row number 8. Elliott was the 2020 All-Star Race winner at Bristol. The 2022 All-Star Race winner at Texas, Ryan Blaney, on the inside of row 9. He's the last qualifier of those that, of course, were the original 17 locked into the show today. Ty Gibbs, who won the Open earlier, will start on the outside of row number 9. And in row number 10, it'll be the last transfer spot from the Open, Bubba Wallace, and the fan vote getter, Noah Gragson. Bringing up the rear of the field 2 years in a row, Gragson has won the fan vote. So we already did 2 streams today. We had a Truck Series race, which began earlier this morning. Well, really technically began yesterday. Finished up from the late morning hours into the early afternoon. Then we streamed the NASCAR Open a few hours ago as well. Saw 100 laps of action. Only one caution for incident in that, and a fairly tame Open compared to recent years. But as far as this All-Star race, with the different tires in effect, I think it's going to be a much different show than what you had seen earlier in those first 100 laps. There should be comers and goers, of course, with the randomness of the qualifying that we had, not typical qualifying where it's all on the driver. It was on the pit crews as well. Well, here today, it's mostly going to be on the drivers, with more than likely only 1 or 2 pit stops to be had and none under green flag conditions for the race, with the way the cautions will be split up. At least as far as the way the cautions are split up will make for no pit stops under green flag conditions, at least that are scheduled. Somebody gets into an incident or something of that nature and we stay green, they will have to make an unscheduled pit stop, and no scheduled stops will be had under green. And the first stage, if it goes green most of the way through, would probably be the only segment or stage that we'll see any sort of lap traffic come into play, as there are only 20 cars in the field compared to a normal 36 plus that we'd see on every NASCAR race weekend. So with all that being said, again, Larson, the only driver dropping to the rear of the field for the start of the race, so the outside row behind him will move up a row for the initial start. And again, it'll be Joey Logano on the pole for this race. I mentioned already also that there were supposed to be 2 60-lap heat races for pretty much everybody in the main event field that was locked in before the night. That was supposed to be last night, but unfortunately with all the rain, they had been canceled entirely. So the only track time that we've had this weekend was the 50-minute practice session, which took place 2 days ago on Friday afternoon. And of course, the qualifying procedure with the pit stop competition in play in that yesterday morning for the 17 that are locked into the show. And then the other 3, obviously, of Gibbs, Wallace, and Gragson all ran the Open, so they have an extra 100 laps of, I guess, knowledge that they have compared to the other Open driver, or the other All-Star race drivers who were not in the Open and got their heat races rained out yesterday evening. But appreciate everybody tuning in here today. Once again, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more NASCAR content. We have live NASCAR streams every NASCAR race weekend for Truck Xfinity and Cup Series races, including NASCAR Cup Series practice and qualifying. Next weekend will be an even bigger weekend than this week was. We had a lot of live commentary streams, an extra truck race stream with the race starting yesterday, beginning today. Heat races unfortunately got canceled, so I guess I kind of made up for the lost stream we would have had. We ended up having an extra with the Truck Series, but this is going to be an interesting one for sure. Next weekend is going to be interesting because, of course, we have the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 on next Sunday, Memorial Day Sunday, 1 week from today. I will be doing live commentary for both of those races next Sunday, so it's going to be a long day of streaming. We're going to have an early afternoon race and a late night race, but I can't wait to bring that action to you guys. I'm off of work on Memorial Day, so don't worry about me. I will be A-okay to do all that. As far as the other races that weekend, we still have the Truck Xfinity races Friday and Saturday as well. And Cup practice and qualifying will be taking place Saturday. So a very busy weekend next week, but we still got the main event here tonight, obviously, to wrap up before we get into next week's schedule. So stay tuned to the end of the stream for start times on that. As far as this race goes, I mean, we're moments away from the drop of the green flag. The field's already tested pit road times. Now it's just a matter of getting this race underway, and I think we're another pace lap or 2 away from that happening. 70 degrees is the air temperature at the North Wilkesboro Speedway, and 88-degree track temp under the lights. Very cool considering the air temp, but again, that is because the sun has gone down and the lights have come on. 1 to go signal was given that last time by for the field, so the pace car will be pulling in going into turn 3. And Joey Logano, the pole sitter, has elected the outside lane for the initial start, leaving the 6 of Keselowski to lead row 1 on the inside. 200 laps, $1 million, and 20 drivers vouching for that $1 million bonus. No points on the line here tonight. And a packed, sold-out crowd on hand for the second consecutive All-Star Race weekend at North Wilkesboro. Green flag is in the air. We are racing under the lights on a Sunday night. Joey Logano leads the field down the backstretch, easily clear off turn 2 as a side-by-side battle for second continues on. A little bit of contact further back outside the top 10 as cars start to get organized. Or try to, at least. Logano leads the opening lap of the race. Brad Keselowski was scored second at the line. He was able to clear the 20 of Bell. Stenhouse hard into the wall already, and we have our first incident, and caution's out on lap 2. Stenhouse got hooked in the left rear as they were 3 wide. He was on the outside and obviously got the worst end of it, head on to the outside wall in turns 1 and 2. It might have been off Kyle Busch's front bumper.
$1 million bonus.
That's shut in the wall. Apparently, Clint, you saw a little more than what I saw.
Well, he got assisted.
So this started a row further back. Stenhouse 3 wide coming out of turn 2, and then he got here.
This is what I was talking about off the 2. Got pushed
Ooh.
up into the wall pretty hard. I knew he wasn't going to like it. As soon as he got to it, he took care of it. And Stenhouse was trying to run and hide, wasn't he? Here comes the retaliation. You're not going to get away with that. Not with that driver. It stuck him in the fence. This night's over.
Full moon Sunday night.
Gonna need some icy hot. He's out of the car already. Oh, wait a minute. He parked in Busch's pit box. Look at this. Got out and hit his pit box, Kevin.
I like that.
Kyle Busch's pit through. And Ricky Stenhouse climbs over the wall.
Tempers already.
To have a word.
2 laps. We already got tempers.
Still on the racetrack. We see him up on the box.
It ain't an all-star race without tempers.
Look, I think it's one of those scenarios where Stenhouse put it 3 wide, and you see Andy Petrie up there on the pit box like, what more, driver? Whatever you think, okay.
There's Andy in the white shirt in the competition.
Well, there's
RCR.
We knew there's going to be aggression. I didn't know it was going to be on lap 2.
I didn't think so either.
The AMR safety crew wants Ricky to go to the center and be checked out, which is NASCAR protocol when you exit the race due to a crash. And there's the conversation between Stenhouse, crew chief Randall Burnett, and Andy Petrie.
Yeah, and that's a heck of a way to start this race off. But you can see these guys know that grip is in those tires, and in that turn right there, Ricky went through the middle and he saw the hole, and
There it is again.
He's there.
I don't know. To be honest with you, from that angle, okay,
Yeah.
you can see Kyle didn't like it, but he didn't run it high.
No, he did not. And I think
That angle definitely painted a different picture for me.
Stenhouse went through a hole right there, and he didn't, in my opinion, didn't do anything wrong right there. I mean, they had contact up off the corner, but it was he was well past him on the middle lane.
Pits are open. Here comes
Wow.
Suarez, Truex, Bell, and Chastain. Big bag here, Larry.
Will they take the soft tires off and get the driver?
And we have 1 lap on them. This will get them off there. They'll have them for later in the race if needed. Oh.
Well,
There's the yellow ones.
I think the primary tire they're going to put on there because they know how far they have to go. I think a lot of people saw, those red tires fall off. Regan?
Well, the one at Ross Chastain, you see, he's one of those cars that decided to pit right here, and that you guys are exactly correct. He's worried about how long these tires would last. A number of crew chiefs said in this scenario, this is exactly what they would do to get those red stop tires off right now. Ricky Stenhouse goes wide. Caution of the All-Star race.
Tempers on a short track and tempers in the All-Star race. Doesn't get old, does it? Joey Logano leads the opening laps of the race. Caution lap 2 with Kyle Busch and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. tangling. Busch basically just turned Stenhouse in turns 1 and 2. He gave him a bump, and it looked like Ricky kind of overcorrected when he was sliding, and that's what caused him to nose into the wall. Stenhouse, visibly upset, goes up to the pit box of the 8 team, and then into the infield care center he went after that. Stenhouse's night is done, obviously, in the opening laps of this race, and the other 19 continue on. Not a lot of damage for Kyle Busch. Only the top 4 cars stayed out of the pits, so interesting, with only a lap of green flag action on their tires that we already see pit stops. But again, that primary tire going on all of the other drivers outside of the top 4. And then the red soft tires still on the top 4 at the front of the field. So differentiating strategies here. We still have a mandatory 4-tire stop no matter what at lap 100, but obviously you can pit before that, and that's what the teams have chosen to do. Now, for fuel purposes, they can make it to the end of this first segment, no problem. The fuel window is 120 to 130 laps, and only 100 laps in the first segment. So again, they will not have to make any green flag stops here today. We'll take our first ad break of the stream. You're listening live to the 2024 NASCAR All-Star Race on KRC. Bond 1771, Ethan Chua, Eric Church, Regine Huddleston, Rick Craver. Thanks for tuning in to the stream as well. JoJo, welcome back. Rick Witkowski, others. Frank Powers, Matthew Dorter, Bruno. Interesting start to the All-Star race here tonight, to say the least. And Stenhouse done for the day, following his early crash on lap 2 off the front bumper of Kyle Busch. Saw some old Kyle Busch tempers there. We see the old Kyle Busch by way of driving through the field and getting the win here today. We'll have to wait and see. Won't be much more vintage Kyle Busch than if he goes to victory lane after something like that in the opening laps of the race. A lot of Fords up at the front of the field based off of qualifying. Logano, Reddick, Keselowski up there. My pick, by the way, was Denny Hamlin to win the race tonight. I didn't state that in the pre-race, so apologize for that. But Denny Hamlin was my pick for the win. He's currently in the 12th place position. Had the second fastest 5, 10, 15, 20 lap averages in practice, and the fastest 5 through 20 lap averages, and I almost took him. Almost took my guy, Blaney. But Penske hasn't been showing consistent enough speed, even though this weekend they look quick with Logano on the pole. Blaney qualified well, and here they are up inside the top 5 in the early going.
The first 5 drivers did not stop. The backgrounds of those drivers red because they are still on the optionals.
All right, so the top 5 stayed out then. All Fords and then Reddick in the Toyota. So Blaney also stayed out to leapfrog track position after he started back in 17th. Green flag is in the air, and another great restart here for Joey Logano as he's easily cleared into turns 1 and 2. Everybody from 6 on back in the primary tires trying to work forward or past the drivers on the soft tires. We'll see how that's going to hold up. I think it's going to make more of a difference on the long run than the short run. 3 wide further back in the pack and more contact off the exit of turn 4. It looked like the 2 Hendrick teammates of William Byron and Chase Elliott got together. And they are still 3 wide off the exit of the corner. One car scrapes up against the wall. We saw 3 wide not work in the truck race. We saw it, for the most part, not work here in the, I should say in the open it didn't work very well. And then in the early 2 laps of this All-Star race it didn't work well, but we're still seeing 3 wide. Larson Gibbs underneath McDowell. Larson backs out of it, letting the 54 and the 34 go in front of him. Better move there from Larson. Chris Buescher making the move past his teammate, Brad Keselowski. That's a battle for 3rd, and Reddick was able to get the 2nd off the restarts as he tries to run down Joey Logano. The Toyotas have dominated the short tracks this season. Outside of William Byron's win at Martinsville, every other racetrack 1 mile and less in length a Toyota driver has gone to victory lane more often than not. That driver is Denny Hamlin, hence the reason I picked Hamlin to win this race tonight. Hamlin won the exhibition race at the Busch Light Clash at the LA Coliseum on a 3rd-mile oval. He also has a win on a 3/4-mile oval at Richmond and a half-mile oval at Bristol. I mentioned Byron's win at Martinsville, but the other 2 wins by Toyotas on the 1-mile tracks would include Christopher Bell at Phoenix and, of course, Denny Hamlin again at Dover. So Toyotas are going to be tough to beat here today. Reddick up in second, trying to put the fight to the Fords in the early going. And, of course, in the Open, we saw 2 Toyotas race their way in with Ty Gibbs and Bubba Wallace. So, yeah, no surprise at the... so if you want to include even the Open, I guess, as another, exhibition race that the Toyotas have won this season on a short track, there you go. Top 5 are all still the same 5 that stayed out of the pits. Jamie Little's caught up with Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Missing his mats. Parked my car in a pit box. I figured he would do something like that. So maybe Richard will hold my watch after the race.
He's going to wait.
Well, he's got a long night to wait. Is he going to pull a Kevin Harvick? What track and what year was that where Kevin Harvick was just waiting? Oh, it was Bristol with Biffle. That's right. It was 2002 or 2003. It was probably a Busch Series race if it was 02 because Biffle was a rookie in 2003. Whatever year it was, he was waiting around at Bristol half the race just to fight Biffle after the fact. Oh, man, that'd be hilarious if he pulls a Harvick there. Loose moment for Denny Hamlin. Saw he was off the pace on the front stretch. They're showing the replay. He got very loose underneath. Ross Chastain battling for position. Did a great job keeping it off the 1 car. Obviously, he drove by, and now Byron's going to get by the 11 car of Hamlin as well. So Hamlin's struggling with grip. He gained a few positions off the restart to get to 8th, and now he's dropped back to 10th after that slide. Hopefully he hasn't burnt the tires off too early in the run. Otherwise, he may start going backwards even more as we get more and more into this green flag run. Bubba Wallace and A.J. Allmendinger now battling for position side by side. And that battle's going on for 16th. Wallace will complete the pass on the Dinger. Allmendinger, the only non-Cup regular in this All-Star field. He's an Xfinity Series regular once again this season, but he did have a win last year at the Charlotte Roval, so that locked him into the show here tonight. And Shane Van Gisbergen was an entrant that could have been in the running tonight with his win at the Chicago Street Course race last season in the Cup Series, but he is not in this race this weekend, as it would have had to be a non-chartered team, or a non-chartered car at least, to enter into the race. So for financial reasons, unless he would have went to victory lane tonight, it was probably going to be a net loss for the team to have SVG run, any team to have him run. So for that reason, that's why Shane Van Gisbergen is not at the track this weekend. And of course, the Xfinity Series also had off. Logano's led every lap still to this point. He's opened up an 0.8 of a second lead over Tyler Reddick, although the last couple of laps, Reddick has trimmed that down just a little bit. A 1 second lead over Chris Buescher back in the 3rd place position, 1.1 seconds to be exact. Ryan Blaney in 4th place is 1.6 seconds off the lead, and 2.7 seconds off the lead is Brad Keselowski in 5th. That is your top 5 in the running order here in the early laps. Again, a lot of racing still to go in this one. And Buescher now blows the doors off of Tyler Reddick. And maybe Reddick let him through a little bit after last week's run-in. Maybe playing nice here in the early going. But needless to say, Buescher is on the move. He's already passed a couple cars since the restart. He got by his team owner, Brad Keselowski, the occasion in the early going of this race. Blaney with a great run off the Exeter turn 2. Reddick struggling with his car at this point in the run. Blaney had a very quick car in practice, so maybe no surprise. After leapfrogging the field in the track position running game, he has now moved up into the podium slot in 3rd. Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott running nose to tail, battling for 10th. Hamlin had that slide a few laps ago and is still losing a little bit of ground as Elliott puts that battle on for position. Elliott, one of the numerous drivers who had a penalty during the qualifying yesterday, as pit road speed limit was on display with the pit stop competition. Each team had 3 qualifying laps and had to make a scheduled 4-tire pit stop during the course of that 3-lap time trial run. And he was one of the few that got caught speeding on pit road, so that's why Elliott had a poor starting spot today. Blaney did too. Again, he started 17th. He's actually last of all the qualifiers. But as a result of leapfrogging the field by staying out of the pits, that is why he has gotten to where he's at in the running order. And a couple passes on the restart as well to go from 5th to 3rd. All the drivers on the primary tires, though, still 6th on back as they pitted there. And the top 5 that stayed out on the soft tires are still up there, waiting to see if they will fall off over the course of the run. As of this point, that has not been the case. Quickest cars on the racetrack. In fact, that last lap, Chris Buescher ran the fastest time of an 18.544. Fastest time overall on the day also ran by Chris Buescher of an 18.417. So that last lap was about 0.2 off his fastest time. That fastest time was ran on lap 18. One of only 3 drivers to Buescher is one of only 3 drivers to not run their fastest lap in the race from lap 20 or beyond. The only other drivers are Hamlin and Gibbs running 10th and 12th. A battle between Byron, Hamlin, and Elliott really heating up. They were nearly 3 wide getting into turn 3 that last lap. All under a blanket. That's the closest battle for position right now inside the top 10. FS1 going to a side-by-side commercial break, so we'll go through the full field running order now at lap 36. Again, Joey Logano with a 1.1 second lead. Out in front of the field, Chris Buescher still in 2nd, Ryan Blaney 3rd, Brad Keselowski 4th, and Tyler Reddick 5th. 6th place is Christopher Bell, Daniel Suarez 7th, Ross Chastain 8th, William Byron 9th, and Denny Hamlin 10th. Chase Elliott in 11th, Ty Gibbs 12th, Martin Truex Jr. 13th, Kyle Larson 14th, Kyle Busch 15th, and Bubba Wallace 16th. Michael McDowell 17th, Noah Gragson 18th, AJ Allmendinger 19th, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. out of the race after his lap 2 crash. Will finish last and 20th tonight. 19 cars obviously still in the race, and again, Logano every lap led from the pole. You're listening live to the 2024 NASCAR All-Star Race on KRC. The channel where you can watch the race visually is on Fox Sports 1. So again, if you're wondering, at least in the U.S. where you can watch the race, Fox Sports 1. You can vote for who you think will win the race. Wow, it's unanimously looking like you guys think collectively somebody other than Logano, Hamlin, or Truex will win. You can change your votes at any time. We will not close this poll until the end of the second segment, lap 150. So at lap 150, we will close the poll. We are currently at lap 42. Again, 88 votes have been casted so far. 65% of you say somebody other than Truex, Hamlin, or Logano will win. 15% of the votes going to Denny Hamlin, 11% for Martin Truex Jr., and Joey Logano getting 9% of the votes. Hamlin was my pick. Curious to see what your guys' pick is. With this being a shorter race here tonight, not a normal cup race, our like goal is going to be 100 instead of 150. We have hit our like goal for every stream so far this weekend, so be sure to hit the like button so we can get to our goal once again and go 5 for 5 this weekend. We're halfway there. We're at 50 likes already. Again, our goal is to get to 100. 1.3 second lead now for Joey Logano, and you'll get to listen into the booth up until their next commercial break.
In the Star Racers, Monster Energy Gallon Gibbs the Open, the transfer, and is currently 12th. Christopher Bell has made some drivers who are still on the soft tire, and that softer tire is faster than the prime. It's to get during the promotion. Now, kind of conclude that around lap 60, that should or flip And the prime tire becomes an advantage. Regan?
Mike Scarson is still on the softer tire right now. Brad Keselowski in fourth place. He told his team that he's way too loose on the throttle off of the corners and missed the run, but it is starting to come around to get better. Keep in mind, Van told me earlier today, if a scenario presented itself where they could run this tire in a long time, that is Grant's specialty. Managing a tire, which we could have to see out of him right now. Jamie?
Regan, I'm in the 5 box for Kyle Larson. I just noticed that you took softer tires and put them back on the wall. I just found the team. They said these are the tires we started the race on. So they're stuffs. We're ready to put them back on when we pit the next time.
Kevin, you were concerned. Was the car going to be free enough for Kyle Larson? We know he likes a free car. Actually, he's complaining about being too loose. Cliff Daniels said, Frank, some front bias, some front brake bias.
I was Kevin. Why do you? When you told me in a free race, this track is cooled down. Probably going to make these cars loose.
Yeah, well, it just makes the front end turn better. I mean, the front end turns better, has more grip, than the rear gets loose. So, I think that, I think based upon what everybody did on Friday, they knew that they needed to loosen their car up. And we heard Alex Bowman talking after the Open that we got on the other side of the fence and got the car too loose. You want the car to rotate, but you got to be secure enough on the entry and exit to be able to make lap time.
Well, Denny Hamlin is the fastest car on the racetrack on the prime tire. We saw Hamlin drive by Ross Chastain and move up into the 8th place.
No surprise from what we've seen in practice, Kevin. That 11 car was lights out fast.
He was definitely fast, and his car, he's so good at keeping his car from falling off and being so consistent on the long runs and being able to manage that car through the center of the corner by getting it to rotate, being able to still put the throttle down. That's where these Gibbs cars have been so good on these short tracks, being able to have that grip, but also be able to rotate in the center of the corner.
Chase Elliott trying to find his way under Chastain. This will be 9th place. Chase started 15th. He's picked up 5 spots, making him and Kyle Larson, his teammate, the biggest movers in this race. Plus 5.
To these lap times, guys. I mean, obviously, that's all focus is how are these cars going to fall off? These cars with the soft tires on, they're still running very good lap times. 1870s, 80s, 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 90 right there for Bell. Still with those primary tires on.
And Christopher Bell just ran his fastest lap of the race at lap 38. Found he's faster on the prime tire than he was on the option tires. It's Cam, our pulse, Joey Logano, who's 55 laps up the road.
As we get on the backside of this lap run here before we get to the caution, that's where you start to wonder.
Well, so the fire off, right? We learned that the 3/10 faster taking off when those primary turns were. That being said, those 5 cars are down to 7. Keep that in mind when push comes to shove and the money's on the line at the end of this race.
Very good point.
Chris Buescher in 2nd place. Boy, what a couple of weeks he's had. Being part of that finish at Kansas. And close to Kyle Larson, well, 2nd. And then battling for the lead last week in Darlington. He and Tyler Reddick had words afterward. And Buescher's main point, I don't have a checker flag sticker up on the roof.
Broken heart, and he's got. Racing God's owing one. $1 million might pay it off a little bit.
He's going to get one.
Yes, sir. Knocking on the door. They got them RFK cards flying.
Denny Hamlin closing in on 7th place now.
Denny's got a lot of good brake temperature, Kevin. I see the left front glowing already.
But you definitely have to use some brake. It's not extremely heavy. So that surprises me a little bit that there's a lot of glow. Just a little bit there. A lot of times we see that right front glow on a lot of the Fords and a lot of the cars that we've seen on the short tracks where they split that right front to get the brake temp to keep the car from getting loose in the corner. So these cars are glowing the left front just as they use the not really glow on the left front, but they're using, you can see the rotor light up when they hit the brakes.
Which to Blaney in the pre-racing outfits, the workload at this racetrack because of the grip level is through the roof. These guys were flat wore out. Talking to Noah, the open winner, she couldn't hardly do the interview inside that car he was driving for.
Now, a lap ago, Denny Hamlin gave Smith the bumper getting into
So we told him, Clint, we expected him to be aggressive tonight. And
He actually said he was going to.
yeah,
Which is just uncharacteristic.
he was pretty fired up to be on the aggressive
It's a
side.
lot of bills to pay these days.
tonight than his prior 13 All-Star starts combined. He's led them all 64 laps. So before we see these tires switch over, we're going to take a quick break. 64 complete. Joe Logano out front.
Once again, Joey Logano still the race leader, 1 second ahead of Chris Buescher in second place. Ryan Blaney remains in third, and Brad Keselowski is up to fourth. In fifth place is Christopher Bell. Tyler Reddick has fallen to sixth after restarting second. Denny Hamlin is in seventh. Daniel Suarez eighth. Ross Chastain ninth, and Chase Elliott rounds out the top 10. And 11th is William Byron. Ty Gibbs, the Open winner, in 12th. Martin Truex Jr. 13th. Kyle Larson 14th, and Kyle Busch 15th. And 16th is Bubba Wallace. Michael McDowell 17th. 18th is Noah Gragson. He's the last car in the lead lap. AJ Allmendinger already 1 lap down in 19th. And again, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. out of the race will finish 20th. Again, FS1 on a full screen commercial. We'll come back here shortly. You're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR All-Star Race at North Wilkesboro. I believe William Byron during this commercial break has made an unscheduled pit stop because he is now a lap down. And he was running right behind Chase Elliott in 11th. So Byron's gone from 11th now off the lead lap. Issues for the 24 team. Hasn't been a good day for Hendrick Motorsports already when you consider the fact Alex Bowman was unable to race his way in through the Open. And now William Byron going a lap down in the early going here. Of course, yesterday qualifying was not good for HMS as well for Byron and Gibbs. Their pit crew had made a mistake. Actually, I think Byron sped on pit road, and then Chase Elliott's pit crew did not get the left rear lug nut secured tightly on their pit stop, costing them time, and that's why both the 24 and the 9 had to bring up the rear of the field. And of course, Larson had to start at the rear because he did not practice or qualify his car. So already a detriment to Hendrick Motorsports here this weekend. At least Jack Knaus got to give the command today, so I guess if there's a silver lining here, at least there's that. Not that that pays anything, but alrighty. Oh my goodness.
Every moment on NASCAR's road to victory. More driven.
Getting into lap traffic. The race is going to be on here.
Yeah, and you know, Gregson jumped that cushion there in the middle of 1 and 2, and he got by.
Now, while we were away, William Byron came to pit road to fix some right side damage at the minimum, a bent link, as he got into the wall up off turn 2. Watch the tip of your screen.
He was
Excuse me. And here's some radio from the 24.
Broken toe link, probably. Yep.
Yeah, and that bump is just in the wrong spot, right? Like you're back in the throttle, and if you got a little bit too much wheel in it, we saw that earlier in the first Open race, and just very difficult to manage that section of the racetrack and be in the throttle.
Well, unfortunately for William, it is in a bad spot, but for us, so racing, when they get side by side, it's great. It's fantastic.
Here we are, lap 75 or so. And the lap times between the soft tire cars and the prime cars have now equalized.
It has, Mike, and I think the biggest thing, and we kind of have anticipated this, those on the softer tire are able to get so much of an advantage on the restart, it just opens the gap so much you just can't get back to them.
Well, these guys are going to want to do everything they can to stay on the lead lap, but Gardner's going to get by Michael McDowell.
The good thing for the soft tire cars, they're in front. The downside of that is the other teams have a couple of brand new soft tire sets left for the second half of this race.
Yeah, everybody here has learned that the soft tires will go far enough to do what you need to do, especially as we get to these 50-lap segments at the end of this race. And now these guys are, whoa, got a little bump there. Charlotte Knight saying hello.
Yeah. It's Michael McDowell who just gone a lap down. Jimmy Logano.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to earlier. These guys, those 5 that stayed out and elected to stay out, keeping the soft tires on, they could be in trouble in this race.
Looking good right now, but not having those tires.
These boys are. Traffic is playing a role in this. This pusher is on it, and Blaney's shortly coming right there after them.
Yes, sir. That was the Kevin Harvick's happy hour cam for Kyle Larson.
Now you're sponsoring cams, Kevin?
We're everywhere, Clint. Just get on the train and let's go.
Now, all caution at 100 laps. Victory for you can do it on the right tire, you can do it on the option tire, the soft tire. You must on 4 of the same tire. You can't mix and match.
Well, this 22 car is good.
Wraps that ball.
All right, so Joey Logano continues on with the lead, but it's only about a half a second over Chris Buescher, and has been for the last several laps since Logano had gotten into lap traffic. Byron's broken toe link has sent him onto pit road for a lengthy period of time. I'm not sure if he's back out on the track yet or not, but he's currently scored 12 laps down. AJ Allmendinger, Noah Gragson, and Michael McDowell have gone a lap down. And looks like Logano trying to lap Bubba Wallace in the 23 next. Logano looking to the inside of Wallace, not going to be able to stay there. And as Bubba's trying to stay on the lead lap to lap 100 for that caution, here comes Chris Buescher, closing in on the 22 car of Logano now. So Buescher still has to get by the lap car of Michael McDowell, which also isn't going to be an easy pass for him, considering he's in the free pass spot, needs to keep up with Wallace in case the 23 goes a lap down. Bigger gap to Kyle Busch, who is a couple seconds out ahead of the 23 car, but still 14 laps to go yet in this first segment. Logano's been side by side with the 23 for about 3 laps now. Pretty even fall off, I'd say, between the soft tire and the primary tire so far. I don't think we've really seen much differentiating fall off between the two. I guess the primary tires don't fall off as much, they just start slower. And so the fall off isn't as great for that reason. Oh man, near contact made between Logano and Wallace that time on the front stretch. And now Logano moves the 23 up the racetrack saying, hey, listen, I gotta go. The Wallace still isn't going to surrender, and there's more contact off the exit of turn 2 down the backstretch. A lot wider line that time by the 23. The 22 down low on the bottom still isn't going to clear. Buescher still hasn't capitalized on gaining a whole lot of ground to this point, with Michael McDowell still kind of taking his line away on the outside. Ryan Blaney and Brad Keselowski, meanwhile, are side by side for third place a little bit further back. Logano making more contact, and here comes Buescher finally to the inside of McDowell. 10 to go in this first segment. It doesn't pay, but track position is important. This is as close as Buescher's been to the lead so far, despite running in the second place position for quite some time. All over the back bumper of Logano is Buescher. Logano's just going to have to hop in line behind the 23 car. Can't stay door-to-door again. Looks back to the inside again, and Buescher actually lost ground through turns 1 and 2, and McDowell got back around the 17. And Keselowski, who was door-to-door with Blaney for a little bit, Blaney is now going to win the battle for the time being, as those two still remain about 1 second behind the leaders. Logano pushing the back of the 23 car again. Honestly, the way things are going right now, he could probably just sit in line behind, and Buescher still has not cleared the 34 of McDowell. Another big move by Logano to the back bumper of the 23. That slows both cars down, and Buescher again back to the inside of McDowell, but can't stay there on the front stretch. Logano chases the 23 up the racetrack some more. These cars are just so equal from top to bottom in the running order that it is so difficult for Joey Logano to get by the 23 of Wallace, who has decent speed in his car here tonight. He showed that in the open. Again, Logano hangs on the left rear corner panel. Same for Buescher on McDowell, but more aggressively, obviously, is the 22 over the 23. Logano lost a little bit of ground to the 23 car that time, but Buescher also losing ground to both the 23 and the 22 up ahead of him. 4 to go this time by in this first segment. Logano back to the inside of Bubba Wallace. Buescher again to the inside of Michael McDowell, and kind of similar to one another, they have to drop in line behind the lap cars in front of him. This is honestly bigger for McDowell than it is for Logano at this point to get by Bubba Wallace. With a mandatory 4-tire stop coming up, you can't take the wave around. So you're going to be trapped a lap down at least until there's another caution. And so far tonight, we have not seen an incident outside of the lap 2 crash, of course, with Stenhouse. Now again to the inside of Wallace. And this does obviously eliminate another driver from potentially catching up to win as well. So there is something there for that reason for Logano, with already a lack of cars in the field with this being an exhibition race. And not many laps left overall, considering it is only 200 laps on a short track. Again, this distance in this race is 50 laps shorter than the entire truck race this weekend. So it is a very, very quick race. And again, Logano not able to make the pass. He's going to surrender now. Bubba Wallace will live to fight another day on the lead lap. Joey Logano is going to get to the line this time by, and he's going to win this first segment. Caution is out. 100 laps in the books, 100 still to go at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Joey Logano is your race leader. Chris Buescher again second. Brad Keselowski third. Ryan Blaney fourth. And Christopher Bell fifth. Tyler Reddick still in sixth. Denny Hamlin seventh. Ross Chastain eighth. Daniel Suarez ninth. And Chase Elliott 10th. And Michael McDowell will get the free pass with the caution to get back on the lead lap. Byron continues in the race, but 12 laps down after the toe length break. Had to make the unscheduled pit stop during green flag situations. And I would imagine that now the 5 drivers who stayed out of the pits during the lap 2 caution are now going to have to go to the primary tires. And the soft tires will be had by the drivers from Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin on back. Obviously, Reddick would be switching to the primaries as well here. You have to run a set of each, so I'd imagine that's why the 22, the 17, the 6, the 12, and the 45 will pit this time. Considering the next pit stop isn't mandatory for a 4-tire stop, I would imagine that that is going to be the call. They're going to run the primaries and are probably going to be stuck with them the rest of the race. Haven't seen a lot of fall off really with either tire so far to this point through the first 100 laps. It's a freshly repaved track too, so I'm not going to blame, NASCAR Goodyear for this. It's just a freshly repaved track. I don't think you could have imagined much fall off to begin with, but kudos for them at least trying something. Eric Church, thanks for the $10 super chat. Appreciate that. Appreciate everybody that's hit the like button so far as well. 60 of you have done so. Our goal is to get to 100 likes. And we are just past the halfway point in the race. So be sure to hit the like button again if you have not done so. Pit stops on the other side of the break. You're listening live on KRC. So 100 laps still to go in the All-Star race at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Our second caution of the day is the competition caution. That was scheduled for lap 100. We're guaranteed one more yellow with 50 to go in this one as well.
4-time pit stop.
think you can do if you're him, Larry, right? I've seen all I need to see. Reds for everybody. You get reds. You get reds. You get reds.
Soft tires all the way around. Pit road opens for those on the lead lap. Forget Christopher Bell in pit stall number 1. Here we go, Jamie.
Before the radio exchange, Joey Logano, they had the primary tire on the wall. They made that audible, changed the tires because they're happy with how it was handling after 100 laps on board. Meanwhile, Christopher, same thing, red tires for them as well. Regan.
It was also a late change to the primary tires for Ryan Blaney. They had from the primaries to the reds. They've now got the reds on the wall. That is what they're going to put on the car. The soft tires, tight.
I guess everybody's going softs anyway.
And the 6 of Keselowski was always going to be this. He did a little bit of rear lateral drift on the throttle. There you go.
Down pit road. The first stop. The exit. Joey Logano. Out in first, out first.
Number 1 box of work 2.
It's school. Sweet.
Alrighty, so again, Logano holds on to the lead. He might lead every lap of this thing at this point. I haven't seen anything otherwise to tell me different unless he makes a mistake on a restart. Everybody's going to have the soft tires here from the get-go, so much for the tire question mark situation that added intrigue to this race. I think this is going to turn into a typical short track race in the next gen era because it has been to this point. We kind of saw that in the open too. Granted, everybody was pretty much on the soft tires in that one, and I would imagine that everybody took soft tires here, as it sounded like that was going to be the case. I thought you had to run a set of each, but apparently not. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out. We're up to 67 likes. Be sure to hit the like button, and that poll again will stay open in the chat as well for who you think is going to win the race today. You can vote. 140 votes have been casted already. 64% of you say somebody other than Truex, Hamlin, or Logano will win. Only 12% saying Hamlin, 13% saying Logano, despite the fact Logano's led every lap so far. I get there's a lot of Logano haters out there, but I'm surprised still. 11% of the votes have Martin Truex Jr. winning. 68 likes. Yeah, let's run that up. I mean, these laps are clicking by quickly. We have less than 100 to go in this one. It's a very short race, so be sure to hit that like button so we can get to that goal of 100 here before the finish. Well, we don't have any stage breaks here in this one, and I didn't get a diecast showing out during the open, so I have that diecast showing here, and then at the lap 150 caution, I'll have another diecast showing. I've got 2 former All-Star Race winners for our diecast showings here today, and we're going to start off with my favorite driver, Ryan Blaney, who won the All-Star Race in 2022. This isn't that same diecast, not from that same season either. This is actually from the 2019 season, as it is his PPG scheme. A lot of fans, the NASCAR fans, that is, I think, really like this scheme. I like it too. I think it got more praise from maybe online support than what it was from me. It wasn't my favorite Blaney scheme of the year, but maybe widely renowned as a lot of other people's favorite Ryan Blaney scheme from that season. The PPG schemes now for Penske that both Cindric and Blaney have ran over the last several years look nothing like this, really. They're pretty bare compared to what this one looks like, so... here is the diecast showing, at least the first one of the night.
The red option or
Pit stop competition comes in handy there for Christopher Bell. As a result of that, he is up in the second place position for the restart. Another fast pit stop. Green flag is back in the air at North Wilkesboro. Side by side for the lead off the exit of turn 2. Best restart of anybody not named Joey Logano in the front row so far today. Bell drove it in really deep into turns 3 and 4. We'll see if he's got the corner exit speed. He's going to stay on the door of Logano. A little bit of contact getting down into the first turn as Bell nudges the left rear corner panel of the 22. Chris Buescher in third place, right in line behind him as he pulled clear of his teammate Keselowski. Bell, the only non-Ford inside the top 5, and Hamlin's jumped up to 6th on the race start. All Chevys 7 through 10th in the running order. This is looking very reminiscent of the Bowman and Wallace battle in the Open on the final restart there with 50 laps to go, where they were door-to-door for about 5 or 6 laps before Wallace had ended up holding on to the second place position. This one, though, a battle for the lead with the $1 million check on the line. Bell slides up the racetrack just a little bit. Contact with Logano. Great job by the 22, keeping it off the wall with a very tight space around him. Double drivers took primary tires there. Looks like Gibbs, Reddick, and Stenhouse. Well, Stenhouse is out. So Reddick and Gibbs are the only ones that actually took primary tires over the soft tires. Maybe just trying something different considering they were both outside the top 10. Oh boy, a lot of contact now. And that's going to open the door on the bottom. Denny Hamlin out of nowhere is going to take it 3 wide to the inside for the lead. Bell and Logano used each other up a ton. Hamlin did a great job getting by Blaney and Buescher. And now Hamlin clears the 20 and he's underneath the 22 for the lead. Business is heating up with 87 laps to go in the All-Star race. Toyotas are coming to the front of the field. I still don't know how Hamlin got through there. They were so deadlocked on the camera on the 22 and the 20. I had no clue Hamlin was even up to 3rd. Last I saw, he was in 6th. Not the case anymore. Kyle Larson, also a driver on the move. He's up to 7th place as he continues by. He's on the inside of Keselowski. Logano clear and holds on to the lead. Hamlin's going to try to get to his outside. Not going to be able to do that either. Blaney closing in on the 20 of Bell for 3rd. Bell took too long to try to pass Logano, and going up the groove didn't help him either. Logano has still led every lap of this race. Apparently Keselowski is credited with 1 lap led on pit road, so I guess Logano's led all but 1 lap in this one, but he's led all the green flag laps. Blaney still side by side for position with Bell. Did Bell maybe use his tires up a little too early in the run? We'll have to wait and see. Blaney's had good fire-off speed. Again, he had the fastest 5 through 20 lap averages in practice on Friday afternoon. Trouble, Ty Gibbs is around, and the caution is out for the 3rd time today. That's in turns 1 and 2. Again, Ty Gibbs has gone around, our 3rd caution of the race, and it might be off the front bumper of Kyle Busch again. Maybe. This might be the 2nd car Busch has spun today. Both cautions, for instance, might be off the front bumper of the A. We'll have to wait and see a replay to confirm that, but not good there for Gibbs. Reddick lost a lot of time, by the way, on pit road, considering he was in 6th and came out outside the top 10, and now he's back at 15th. So Gibbs and Busch were both on the inside lane. And there was contact. Busch had gotten into the right rear of Gibbs, and he went around. Not sure if he started to go around before that or not, but Busch was definitely all over him. Gibbs was getting freight trained, though. Wallace was blowing by him on the outside. Truex is coming with a head of steam, also on the outside behind the 23 and the 8. Got into the 54. It just looked like Gibbs was slow getting into the corner and just all the way down the front stretch and got used up. Kyle Busch has brought out the chrome horn here tonight at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. And we got the classic rivalry of Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano, more than likely going to be on the front row for the next restart. Ryan Blaney was credited with 3rd at the time of the caution over Christopher Bell as they went to the last scoring loop. So Blaney jumps up to 3rd, and Bell, after side-by-side battle for the lead and coming out 2nd out of the pits, has lost 2 positions from that last restart. 81 laps to go in the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro Speedway. You're listening live on KRC. Think the hate as Vickerism? He might. Got some pit stops. Reddick and Suarez.
Intensity right there compared to what we saw in the first run. So this is these guys know that these restarts are important. So when you're on the bottom, you know that if you can get underneath that guy, you got to finish the pass. And that's what we were talking about earlier. You got to be aggressive with the door and getting up the racetrack to try to clear that guy.
Let's give a listen to Kyle Busch's radio.
It's not great feedback, but
He's frustrated.
yeah, he's frustrated.
We both know him good enough.
Busch has been outside the top 10 all night long. Free pass had gone to, I believe, AJ Allmendinger. I believe AJ Allmendinger will get the free pass with this caution. So he'll be back on the lead lap. That'll put 18 cars on the lead lap in this one. Ty Gibbs, it looks like, might have lost a lap during the course of this caution, so might be a chance that there's 17 on the lead lap when we get back to racing. And we're guaranteed a yellow at lap 50, so we're about 29 laps away from that right now. One to go signal this time by. Logano, of course, elects the outside. Hamlin will be the inside of row 1. Ryan Blaney to the outside behind his teammate Logano. Bell did a great job on the restart to stay side by side with the 22, and they were door to door for every bit of about 7 or 8 laps before the contact, and Bell lost the track position. Hamlin took him 3 wide, and Hamlin eventually, of course, got around the 20, was side by side with Logano for another lap or two before, of course, then Logano was able to hold on to the lead still. Evergreen flag lap has been led by the 22 of Joey Logano so far. But now he's got company with other veterans of the sport charging their way through the field. Green flag back in the air. A much better restart for Logano this time around than the last time, and he will clear Denny Hamlin into turns 1 and 2. Hamlin driving it in deep, trying to make sure he clears the 12 of Ryan Blaney. He's going to be able to do so, but Blaney charges hard back to the outside of the 11 of Hamlin through 3 and 4. Hamlin up the hill, squeezes the 12. No contact, though, between the two of them. He's going to try to take his line away again through turns 3 and 4 and try to force him into an uncompromised position. There was contact that time around. Blaney not going to give up, although Hamlin is going to be able to clear himself, and because that loss of momentum by the 12, the 20 of Bell's back underneath him for third. Kyle Larson, after not practicing or qualifying his car, he hasn't even been at the track all weekend. He's been at Indy all weekend. Jumps in the car, a setup that the 4 of Harvick, well, the former driver of the 4 of Harvick, in the 5 this weekend, tried to do the best he could to set the car up for Larson. Larson was mired outside the top 10 the entire first 100 laps, out of nowhere. Had driven his way on that last restart to 5th. He battles for 5th still with Chris Buescher. Looked to have one of the strongest cars in the first segment, but now has faded a little bit. And after the last few weeks, really the last month or so, of the top 14 being RFK Racing, Penske has risen to the occasion tonight with the speed Cindric showed before his crash in the Open, and of course Logano dominating this all-star race with Ryan Blaney in third. Logano has not won a points-paying race since Dirt Bristol of last season. It has been over a calendar year since his last win. Ryan Blaney, in that meantime, has won 3 races in a championship. Larson and Buescher have been side by side pretty much every lap since this restart so far. Larson doing a great job on the inside lane. Chase Elliott slowly still moving through the field as he battles side by side with Keselowski for 7th just behind him. Hamlin Blaney, maybe door to door for 2nd. Blaney to the inside, and he is there on the 11. Ryan Blaney trying to move forward. 3 former All-Star race winners, 1, 2, and 3 in the running order. The most 2 recent defending champions of the sport, and probably the most winningest driver over the last 2 seasons in the sport, also in Denny Hamlin, is up battling. We're guaranteed 1 more restart, but these 3 are putting the pressure on each other here in the middle going of this second stint. Michael McDowell, credit to coming from a lap down for him. Lap down for McDowell at the end of the first 100 laps is now up to 12th after getting that free pass. Hamlin drove away from Blaney, drove it very deep on the entry into turn 1, trying to get to the inside of the 22, but couldn't get it to stick. Lost the momentum on the backstretch, and the 12 is right there with him again. Great battle, though, going on between these three. Larson, by the way, was not able to win his battle with Chris Buescher, and Buescher has since then pulled away from Larson in 5th, and he's slowly reeling in the 4th place driver of Bell. Multiple laps of side-by-side between the 12 and the 11. The 11 won the battle, temporarily speaking, only for Blaney to catch right back up, try the bottom again. Now Hamlin goes to the inside lane. Blaney goes back to the top. They try something a little different. Hamlin nearer the wall through 3 and 4, trying to find any sort of momentum he can. It actually turns 1 and 2. 3 and 4, he went back to the bottom. I don't know that Joey Logano's got the best car in the field anymore. I think it was mainly just the track position. Now that the 11 and the 12 had gotten a restart close to him, they are definitely keeping up with that 22 car. A lot more sense of urgency going on here. Bubba Walls is driven up to 8th place on the restart. He's the highest running driver of those that raced in the Open. Gibbs a lap down after a spin, and Noah Gragson is 13th. And by the way, when I stated that Allmendinger got the free pass, it was actually Gragson who got the free pass with the last caution, not Allmendinger. And since then, again, Noah has driven up to 12, so good job for him there. And with Gibbs a lap down, now the 54 and the 16 will be battling for the free pass spot. And we're guaranteed at least one more yellow, which would be at lap 50. Or 50 to go, lap 150. Blaney finally gets to the outside of Hamlin. Had a great run through turns 3 and 4. Beat him there. And this is going to be a lot harder for Hamlin to hold him off. Ryan Blaney clear off turn 2. 10 to go until the next caution. And Ryan Blaney is up to 2nd. Quickly moves back to the bottom. Can he run down his Penske teammate before the next yellow? "59 laps remaining overall." Closest battle for position looked to be between Elliott and Reddick for 9th place. They were nearly side by side. That last lap, looks like Reddick has lost a little bit of ground to Elliott now. Now, looking at the lap times between the 12 and the 22, Blaney was about a 10th and a half quicker than Logano the last lap. We'll see lap over lap if he's consistently quicker than him or if they're just going to start trading lap times back and forth like we've seen with a lot of front runners this weekend, whether that be through the Open, the All-Star race here in the early going, or even the truck race all day today and yesterday for the first portion. Yeah, that last lap, Logano was quicker than Blaney, but only by about 3 1/1000ths of a second. "55 to go this time by. Blaney still about 0.6 of a second off of his teammate. Penske 1-2, followed by Joe Gibbs Racing 3-4, and an RFK Ford in 5th. Highest running Chevy is Larson in 6th. One of only 2 in the top 10 is Hendrick teammate Chase Elliott is in 9th. Keselowski also in the top 10 at 7th. And then the 22311 Toyotas of Wallace and Reddick are 8th and 10th. That's kind of a highlight on the manufacturer update to this point. So they do not have to pit for tires under this next caution with 50 to go. That is a mandatory yellow, but not a mandatory 4-tire stop like we saw with the last mandatory caution. So you may see teams stay out. Obviously, they're going to be plenty good on fuel to make it to the end of the race. I would imagine the back half of the field will probably pit, but I don't imagine any of the front runners pitting. Although we never know. We'll just have to wait and find out for sure. Blaney's definitely pulled away from Hamlin since the pass for 2nd. And although he was slowly getting to Logano, once he got to within 0.6 of a second of him, he hasn't been able to gain closer than that. Brad Keselowski's re-ran down Kyle Larson. They're now door-to-door battling for 6th place late in this segment. Probably on the final lap of it. We'll see if the 6 can beat the 5 back to the line for the spot. He's going to sail it off deep on that inside lane through turns 3 and 4. Larson a lot wider, going to carry more momentum on the front stretch. And I believe Larson will have him beat as the caution comes out, and that saves the 5 from losing another spot. Our 4th yellow of the day and our 2nd mandatory caution with the competition break. FS1 go into commercial break, and we will take our ad break as well. You're listening live on KRC to the 2024 NASCAR All-Star Race. Trucker Cowboy Ed in the chat saying that I think it's impressive that Larson has been IndyCar all week. Still fast as ever in the Cup car despite not practicing. Yeah, no, he hasn't even been at the track. And it's not like, I mean, yeah, we raced here last year and he won at North Wilkesboro last year. Much different surface. Again, with the repave, he has not taken a lap on this repave. Everybody else had 50 minutes of practice, ran probably 80 laps or more. If not everybody ran 80 laps or more in practice. Some ran over 100. Qualified. So they got an extra pit stop in there. So at least at the timing getting on and off of pit road there. And the open drivers getting the extra 100 laps even as well. Now the heat races were rained out. Otherwise these teams would have had an extra 60 laps more than Larson there. So in that aspect, Larson kind of caught a break with the heat races getting rained out. But yeah, that's insane. True talent. So I thought Larson was going to be ahead of Keselowski when the caution waved. I guess the yellow might have waved right when Logano had crossed the start-finish line rather than before the 6 had gotten passed by the 5, because apparently at the line that last time during the yellow, they're scoring Keselowski ahead of Larson still. So to the last scoring loop at the time of the caution flag, it looks like Larson did lose that spot to Keselowski. I thought Larson held on, but I guess not. So BK up to 6. So and Chevy not performing well here tonight overall when your best driver is the guy who has been in the car for 0 amount of time this weekend. It's 2 of them many laps down with Stenhouse out. The toe link break for Byron. Ty Gibbs will get the free pass with the caution at 17th. We're going to close the poll that is open in the chat as well. 164 votes. 63% of you say somebody other than Logano, Hamlin, or Truex will win. Any the highest running of which that is not on that list in second. Logano leads, Hamlin third, and Truex, I'm not sure where he's at. Truex is 15th and really has been nowhere to be found, surprisingly, tonight. A crazy, crazy race. The North Wilkesboro Speedway. We'll see if we get pit stops this time by. I'm sure some cars will pit. A lot of them staying out. Larson will be the first to pit road, and he brings in everybody behind him.
He has the sticker set of the center tire. Those will go on for him.
Let's continue further down pit road. Kyle Busch in. Chastain is in. So it not stop. So from Larson on back, cars that had new or just barely scuffed soft tires came in to get them. And we'll line them up. 46 to go to finish. Take you side by side.
All right, so we're going to have just over 40 laps to go when we get back to racing here. Everybody from Larson and 7th line back hit pit road. I don't think any of the top 6 pitted. So I mean, they'll have fresher tires, although we haven't seen a lot of fall off this weekend in any the truck or Cup Series races. We'll see what this will bring. I know I'm taking a lot of ad breaks compared to usual, or it might seem like that. I'm taking the same amount I would normally do for a Cup race. Obviously, with this being only 200 laps, I'm having to kind of force them in there. So making sure that I get them all in. So we'll take another break here while FS1 is on a commercial break. Before that, we'll go through the full field running order one more time, following the cycling of the pit stops. So Joey Logano will be the leader, Ryan Blaney second, Denny Hamlin third, Christopher Bell fourth, Chris Buescher fifth, Brad Keselowski sixth, Tyler Reddick seventh, Michael McDowell eighth, Noah Gragson ninth, and Kyle Larson 10th. Bubba Wallace 11th, Chase Elliott 12th, 13th for Ross Chastain, 14th for Kyle Busch, and 15th is Martin Truex Jr. Daniel Suarez 16th, Ty Gibbs 17th, 18th was AJ Allmendinger. Again, he is the first car one lap down, and he's the only car lap down, so if we get another yellow, he'll be back on the lead lap. William Byron 15 laps down after the toe leg break at 19th, and Stenhouse again out of the race. He'll finish in 20th. It's the only driver out. One to go. Nope, not getting the one to go yet. But yeah, we'll take another ad break here before the next commercial, or before the restart. Excuse me. We have one more diecast showing to get to you guys here tonight, as I did not do one during the Open. Another former All-Star Race winner. And you have to go back to this driver's rookie season where he won the All-Star Race, 2002. That driver being Ryan Newman in the number 12. This is an all-tell paint scheme, and this is actually from 2002 as well. A car I really liked growing up. Kind of a basic scheme, black, white. And this is pre, pinstripes on the Penske cars on a regular basis as well. So I had one driver in the number 12 with Ryan Blaney. Here's another Ryan in the number 12, Ryan Newman. And you can see the rookie stripes on the back bumper of the race car to indicate that they are a rookie. So this is from 2002, where he, of course, won the Rookie of the Year as well. Ford Fusion with Penske. This was before Penske made the switch to Dodge. And, of course, now they're back with Ford, as Dodge is no longer in the sport. Last team to win a championship in a Dodge with Brad Keselowski. Breaking through and winning the first championship overall for Penske Racing. They have now won 4 titles, all in the last just over a decade. Brad getting 1, Blaney most recent last season, and Logano with 2. Green flag back in the air, 42 laps to go. Great restart for Logano, not so good for Blaney, who backed up turns 1 and 2 immensely. Hamlin going to get around him, and Hamlin all over the back bumper of Logano as they enter turns 3 and 4. Hamlin looking to the outside of the 22. Logano going to take his line away. Hamlin is hot on the heels of Logano as he tries to move him. Gave him a bump, but couldn't move him up out of the groove. Buescher gets to the outside of Ryan Blaney for third. Just a terrible restart for the 12 after restarting inside of row 1. And Hamlin got to the bumper of the 22 car. Didn't hit him hard enough to knock him out of the way, though. Kyle Larson now gets into the back of the 12 of Ryan Blaney. Loosens him up, gets to the inside. 3 wide for third into turn 3. Buescher still on top of the 12 and the 5. Off the exit of the corner, Larson is clear of Blaney, squeezes him. Not sure Blaney's going to be too happy about that. There was a little bit of contact. He didn't get squeezed into the wall, but he did have contact with him. And now Larson underneath the 17 of Buescher. Being aggressive. Hamlin lost a lot of ground through 3 and 4 to Logano. About a car length and a half difference into turn 1. Larson clears the 17 of Buescher. And after starting at the tail end of the field, last year's All-Star Race winner, and a guy who hasn't even been at the track all weekend, is now up to third. Blaney losing 4 positions in the first few laps on the restart. 37 to go at the line this time by.
Watch out, he can drive over there where they cut this. Right there on. He makes.
Yes, sir. Utilize the goodie out of these tires. It's going to be on the front side of these runs. Get up there, put the pressure on him, and go for it right here.
And he's found that line all in these 163 laps. No practice, no practice. He's maybe what is your share of the $1 million?
But I need to find out pretty quick.
Well, take the pressure off of him.
One lap ago, Kyle Larson ran his personal fastest lap of the race. It may not be done with that as he goes after second.
Well, the longer this goes right here, the harder it's going to be because these guys are going to start to even out.
That's why I said you need to pounce on him. Do it as fast as you possibly can. Utilize the strength in those tires being new. And these are scuffs, right? What do they have? 3 or 4, a handful of laps on them?
Yeah,
One, I think.
They had that many.
Yeah, one.
Green lap. Well, green, yeah. Roll around there. It woke that baby up, didn't it?
Yeah, the only thing that I would be careful with right here through 1 and 2 is just overheating those tires. I'll know that Kyle Larson likes to drive off that right rear tire, but continuously driving it down there to the bottom, and we see it move up. Moved up a whole lane right there.
So 48 for your leader, 46 for Hamlin, 51 for him.
Blaney coming back on the outside. To go and takes the spot. As we watch this fight for second continue. $30 to go. And we'll take side by side one time.
While they're headed to a commercial break here, we'll go through the top 10 and take our final break, at least during green flag coverage today as well. Again, Joey Logano, the race leader, by half a second over Denny Hamlin in second. Kyle Larson, 0.7 of a second off the lead in third. Chris Buescher, 1.6 seconds back and fourth, and Ryan Blaney now in fifth, 2.3 seconds off the lead. Bubba Wallace is in sixth place, 2.6 seconds back. Ross Chastain is 2.9 seconds back. 3.2 seconds off the lead is Chase Elliott in eighth. Martin Truex Jr. 9, 3.3 seconds off the lead. And Kyle Busch in the top 10 for the first time today in 10th. He is 3.8 seconds off the lead. That is the top 10 in the running order in the 2024 NASCAR All-Star Race at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Again, be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Remember, our goal is to get to 100 likes on the stream. We are very close to that goal. We are at 76 right now. We're 24 away, and we're down to 27 to go, so be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe for more NASCAR content so we keep the live commentary coverage rolling on KRC. I did mention at the start of the month, before the Kansas race, that my prediction was Kyle Larson was going to win 3 races in the month of May. Whether that would be, including the Indy 500 and a non-points race at North Wilkesboro because of the tracks that we had on the list. I predicted him to win at Darlington. He didn't win that race. He obviously won at Kansas by 1/1000th of a second and the closest finish in NASCAR history. He's got a chance to get 3, but he's going to have to probably win tonight for that to be the case. Otherwise, he's going to have to win both the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 next weekend for me to be right on that prediction. I was bold going out on the limb saying 3 races in the month of May, considering 4 of them were NASCAR races. He had 5 races to win 3 of them. So that was my bold prediction, I guess, for the month. And right now, Larson's doing a great job in this one despite no practice. Starting at the tail end of the field, he's worked his way to third. And despite putting a battle for second place there with Hamlin, Hamlin has slowly pulled away from Larson. Larson may be cooking his tires too early in the run. And Denny's making another effort to get to Joey Logano as he ran a faster lap than the 22 that last time by. So again, 23 laps to go. We're not guaranteed any more cautions. Larson has lost a lot of ground to the 2 cars in front of him. Buescher and Blaney now closing back up to the 5. Larson's got scuffs on his car as well compared to maybe some of the other drivers having completely fresh tires. Found something for a very brief moment. But he's definitely lost a lot of time now. We'll have 20 laps to go this time by. Here we are. We are at 20 to go, 19 to go this time by in the race. Chris Buescher looking to the inside of Larson. They'll be side by side off turn 4 for position.
Cars
Paces faster. We knew it would be a little bit faster, but I didn't expect it to be as fast as it is. I think that the nighttime temperatures definitely have something to do with that. As you hear Kyle Larson's car up on the rev limiter at the end of the straightaway.
Well, you know it is. I mean, look how much less of a fall off that we have in this race versus the Open. It was during the heat of the day.
How'd you like to be Chris Buescher? Him again?
Yeah.
I mean, 2 weeks ago they had the closest finish ever in NASCAR history between these two. Now they're battling once again.
You don't think confidence and momentum means anything in this sport? You're flat wrong. Chris Buescher has showed up. And since Kansas, he has been up front and just knocking on that door.
And Chris Buescher, I mean, he just has that style of racing where he's going to finish races. And now that he has fast cars, all those years of not having those fast cars and having to grind it out, now when he's grinding it out for fourth, fifth, second, third, whatever those are, he just consistently is keeping himself in the mix, and he's going to knock that wall down and get to victory lane.
Those turn into wins.
Yes. Pretty impressive how this racetrack has spread out like it has, Clint. We've talked about it for a couple of days now. We saw a great truck race today. All these guys running around the top. Last year they ran on the apron.
Oh, every lap. If you were going to move them, you were pushing them off the apron. Here, this has been a 3-wide scenario at this track since we started. Truck race was phenomenal, racing all over the place. The Open was good. This is one of my favorite short tracks all of a sudden.
13 to go. Wouldn't mind seeing one more caution, but there are none scheduled.
Oh, you're asking for one. You got a trend for this, Larry? Is there a trend handy?
My trend is take Joey Logano on a 22 car to something new. They go to Victor Lane. Bristol Dirt, first trip out to LA Coliseum. New configuration of pavement, North Wilkesboro.
Good point. Experience figures it out fast, it sounds like.
Well, he's already told us this track, the tire test that they did at this very track, helped them on their short track program back in Richmond. Helping them again tonight. Big payday coming in 11 laps. 10 to go at the line. What would you do with $1 million right now, Kev? Life's changed a little bit for you.
Put it in the bank.
See, you've gotten all.
You? What would you do?
I've worked spin old.
You put it in the bank too.
9 laps to go. The gap is still 0.7 of a second between Logano and Hamlin. They continue to trade lap times back and forth. Hamlin can't knock the doors down any closer. He got to the back bumper of Logano initially on that last restart. Hit him a couple times in turns 1 and 2, just never moved him up out of the way. Logano was able to hold on to the lead. You have 1 lap card that these two are closing in on. I believe that's AJ Allmendinger, who's already off the lead lap. So when they get to him, I'm sure AJ will surrender his spot. Chris Buescher has been battling forever, it seems like, with Kyle Larson for third. Continues to battle with him as Larson holds on to that third place position some more. A lot of grip on this racetrack. There's so much speed on the outside lane, specifically with the progressive banking. It's so hard to make the pass on the bottom, especially when you consider the fact how equal these cars are at the next gen. No fall off with the next gen. It's not just the next gen. Again, the Truck Series didn't have fall off either. It's just a freshly repaved track. This is normal when you have a repave. So all that being combined, difficult to make passes. It was so vital for that 22 team to win qualifying yesterday by way of Logano and the pit crew. A team effort to get it done, and team effort here tonight to get it done. He won every race off pit road, and he hasn't made a mistake on a restart despite having contact on several occasions. You mentioned Hamlin in the back bumper, but of course had that big contact with Bell at the beginning of that second segment just after the halfway mark where they had gotten together. Hamlin got underneath them 3 wide, then Hamlin was side by side for a couple laps, and still Logano was able to hold on. A strong performance tonight from Joey Logano. And one of the more dominating performances, honestly, we've seen in the Cup Series in recent years, even though this is a short exhibition race. We're down to just 3 laps to go. Overtime rules are still in effect. Normal overtime rules, not the same one we saw in the 2022 race where the caution came out coming to the checkered flag and we had to restart with a guy who had a half-broken window net. That is not in play. We get to the white flag, the next flag ends the race. We're at 2 to go right now. Buescher and Larson are side by side for third yet again. Buescher again to the inside of the 5. They're over 4.5 seconds behind the top 2. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Joey Logano has led all but 1 lap today, and honestly, he's technically led every lap. I mean, the only reason Keselowski got credited with a lap led is because of the pit road sequence with the mandatory 4-tire stop, and everybody came down. He crossed the line first because Logano had the very first pit box on pit road, so right on entry. Logano led every green flag lap today, leads 199 of 200, and the checkered flag is in the air, has been for a little bit now, but Joey Logano wins here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Margin of victory, 0.6 of a second over Denny Hamlin. Hamlin was my pick to win, ends up finishing in second here tonight. 1 hour, 19 minutes, 57 seconds. Total time in this very short race. 4 cautions, 2 for incident. Both off the front bumper of the 8 of Kyle Busch. And we'll see if Stenhouse stuck around to punch Busch in the face at the end of it. He said he was maybe going to stick around here. Maybe he's cooled off over the last hour and 20 minutes. Who knows? Average race speed today of 92.19 miles per hour. We finished under the regulation length of 200 laps. 17 cars finished on the lead lap. Just 1 DNF, which was Stenhouse again on lap 2. Your full field finishing results. Again, Joey Logano with the win. Denny Hamlin second. Chris Buescher third. Kyle Larson fourth. Ryan Blaney fifth. Bubba Wallace sixth. Ross Chastain seventh. Chase Elliott eighth. Michael McDowell the top 10 in ninth. And Kyle Busch finishes in 10th. Noah Gragson 11th. Martin Truex Jr. 12th. Ty Gibbs 13th. 14th for Tyler Reddick. 15th for Daniel Suarez. 16th was Brad Keselowski. He really fell behind on that last restart. Not sure what happened there. Christopher Bell ends up finishing 17th. AJ Allmendinger 2 laps down at 18th. William Byron 19th. 14 laps down after the toe leg break. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. again 198 laps down. Only completed 2 laps today. Following his incident on lap 2. 199 of 200 laps led for Logano. Technically, there were 2 lead changes with Keselowski leading the lap on pit road. Logano getting it back. I don't even know if you can count that. As dominating of a performance as it gets. And if we learned anything tonight, I think NASCAR might still have a little bit of work to do. A lot of bit of work to do, I should say, with the short track package. But needless to say, again, congratulations to Joey Logano. This win does not lock him into the playoffs because this is a non-points paying race. He was on the bubble for that cutoff line. Actually, take a look at the point standings here before that interview from Joey. They might beat me to it. Just got to go get the checkered flag yet. So Joey Logano is below the cutoff line still. Chase Briscoe technically would be in 16th. Logano is 30 points below the cutoff line as the second half of the regular season begins in the Coke 600 at Charlotte. This may build some momentum for him, but he is still out of the playoffs as we stand, even with this exhibition race win. He is $1 million richer, though. Here's your race winner, Joey Logano, with Jamie Little in the front stretch.
It's down at an all-star race. And this team.
So, we came here and tested. We ran over 800 laps at the tire test. Paul,
800?
Really figured out what it's going to take to win the race. The boys executed a fantastic week. Great execution. Great job, really. And
3 generations of Logano's right here.
And it's been a while, Jamie, since we won a race, and I wish this one counted for points, but $1 million will work as well.
Joey, you mentioned that you did the tire test here with 2 other drivers. What did you learn there and on Friday that gave you guys the confidence you could run as long as you did on that softer tire?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't so certain, right? We ran over 60 laps of practice and the tires looked okay. And yeah, you don't know exactly what your strategy are going to be, but it's a total team play, right? It takes a strategy like we talked about. Obviously, it takes a fast car, it takes the execution. Then he gave me a run for my money. His short run was so fast, my long run was so great, so I just had to battle him off. And when it's $1 million on the line, I think all the rules go out the window of clean. So I knew that was coming. I was trying to maintain that clean air. If I lost the clean air, we wouldn't have won the race. So we maintained it all night. Feels good. Feels great.
Congratulations, Joey Logano fired up, and we've got a fight going on right now between Kyle Busch and Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Those two crashed back at lap number 2.
Oh, man.
Second replay we had showed that Stenhouse apparently did not contact Kyle Busch. He thought that Ricky ran him up and into the wall, and then Stenhouse into the wall and out of the race.
Well, he did contact Kyle Busch. He's right there. I think he got him.
There with his fist.
Well, he said he was going to. He waited around the whole race.
Well, let's look now.
Yeah, this happened after Ricky was in the middle of the racetrack, asked Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch put him in the fence right there.
Yeah, that's retaliation.
Hey.
This started out as a discussion and then escalated. With $1 million at stake on lap 2 of the race.
Looks like short track racing to me, Kevin. I grew up watching.
Yeah, that's
unfortunately, but that's part of it.
Yeah, that is a big pit crew member that is clearing the way for things to end.
Right there, and then the crew members were his team as well. Let's go back and show you this. This was the second move he'd made 3 wide. The first one was successful, trying to come up through the middle. You see Busch with contact to the wall there. And then at the other end of the racetrack, retaliation here.
Well,
let's check in with Regan Smith.
Well, Mike thinks a little bit. Calmer over here on pit road with Denny Hamlin. Denny started 11th, worked your way all the way up to 2nd place. I know there's a little debate on whether you wanted tires at the end there or not. Ultimately decided not to. Could that have made a difference?
I don't know. I mean, I needed more of an advantage to pass for sure. I mean, I'd run to them, and then you couldn't pass. You just would lose a little bit of aero there. And I'd give my car a break. I try to run to them again. You got to be so much faster to get around. So, hats off to the track and NASCAR and Goodyear for giving it a try, and certainly, hopefully, we learn something here for future short tracks. But hated for our whole Mavis Sire team. But I mean, at least we had an exciting fight in the end. We got something to talk about. So,
All right, thanks, Denny.
Joey Logano on the way to Victory Lane, which is unique here at Wilkesboro. You drive onto a lift that carries you up to a 2nd story.
That's like Indianapolis.
Replay, looking at
Yeah, this is a better view. They weren't giving Stenhouse the benefit of the doubt here. Oh, this isn't even the same.
Well, that was the end of it. That one was pretty obvious.
it's just dumping him into the fence right there on the retention side of things. After he felt like Stenhouse did him wrong. For us, it felt like he drove through the middle of the racetrack and didn't really do anything wrong, Clint.
Joey Logano did everything right. He led all but 1 lap in the NASCAR All-Star Race to win $1 million. We will check in with the Charlotte studio when we come back on Stock Car Racing's All-Star Night at historic North Wilkesboro.
crazy, crazy night. The way things finished out here. I'm surprised he stuck around. I thought he was just kind of bluffing when he said that he was going to stick around. You know, he foreshadowed he was going to punch Kyle Busch, but this was on lap 2. He stuck around for 198 laps of this race. He could have went home, well, he couldn't go home. I guess there's no like tunnel underneath the bridge. I was gonna say he could have left early, but I guess you have to wait till the end of the race anyway. So the fact that he didn't calm down over the last hour and a half is insane. I mean, like, I'm a pretty cool and collected person. I've raced before, like I've been tempered, racing, but I couldn't imagine like being upset for an hour and a half and then like still being that same upset as I was. Like I felt like I would have cooled myself down for a while there by the end and would have said, it's not worth it anymore. I'll still go up to him. I'm not going to deck him like I said I was going to. No, he backed his words up. He stuck around for 198 laps, almost an hour and a half, and still ended up trying to lay Busch out. I don't know if it connected or not. It was close. If it did, it was brutal. If they get an interview with Kyle Busch at Stenhouse, and you'll get to listen into that. I mean, we've gone through all we needed to, at least with this. I don't want to stick around so long just for that reason. I still have to work tomorrow, but we'll stick around at least for the next few minutes here. I've already gone through the finishing results. I keep that on screen here as I look at the chat as well. Again, appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. Be sure to hit the like button as well if you haven't done so. We're at 89. Our goal is to get to 100 likes. So be sure to hit that like button. We've hit our goal for likes every stream so far this weekend. So let's try to go for 5 for 5 here and get the clean sweep on the like goal this weekend. So again, be sure to hit the like goal. Yeah, WWE moment on pit road for sure. The knockout blow. That was more boxing or UFC than WWE. That was not, well, I mean, I guess it was choreographed on Stenhouse's part. It was hard to tell what they were saying to one another. The mics weren't picking everything up. Obviously, Stenhouse was upset there. I don't know what Busch said to him, but Stenhouse was fired up.
The racetrack leading all on his way to his second star victory. Shannon, Trevor, and Jamie, of course, all the laps led by Joey Logano, but the two is what we're all talking about right now.
Yeah, that's overshadowed Logano's dominating win, unfortunately.
When's the last time you were in a fight, buddy?
I don't know if I was ever in a fight. We talked a lot, I don't remember through the punch.
So fair, everyone's going to go back to the move made by Ricky Stenhouse Jr., which prompted, Kyle retaliating.
Well, we were all sitting kind of watching the race. Our first instinct was that really in this instance, that Stenhouse didn't do anything wrong. I mean, he got into the middle. Kyle ran into the wall and then was pretty upset about it. But you got to remember, this is laps of an exhibition race. People are going to race aggressive, and you got to be able to take it sometimes.
Yeah, one of the angles it looked like that Stenhouse did put Kyle Busch to the wall, but then the other one, and I don't think Ricky did anything wrong either. And I mean, listen, it was entertaining to watch, but I think Stenhouse had every right to be mad, and I'm shocked that he was still that mad 2 hours.
I know, that's exactly what I said. I agree with Jamie. Oh, jeez. That's going to be a soundbite.
Yeah, the interesting thing here, he believes Stenhouse stuck in here. Ricky, you told me at the end of that first interview after the incident, you may have to hold my watch. You were joking. Was this pent-up anger from just this moment, or does it go back beforehand?
I felt like Kyle and I have always raced each other really hard. Back to the Nationwide Series when we were competing for wins week in and week out, and never had any issues. And then, I wrecked him one time at Daytona, and, he's been kind of bad-mouthed me ever since then. So I feel like we get along with each other okay outside the racetrack. I talked to him quite a bit. I'm not sure why he was so mad that, I shoved it 3 wide, but I mean, he hit the fence and kind of came off the wall and ran into me. And I don't know, when I was talking to him, he kept saying that I wrecked him. So, yeah, just definitely built up frustration with, he runs his mouth all the time, about myself. But I know he's frustrated because he doesn't run near as good as he used to. And I understand that. We're a single car team over here. We're working really hard to, go out and get better each and every weekend. And, we had a really good game plan coming in. Our car was really strong. Yesterday Friday in practice, I was looking forward to running to the front. I think we'd passed a couple cars there, and I was excited for the rest of the night. And he ruined it. So yeah, being stuck in here definitely doesn't help the frustration. If there was a tunnel, I'd have probably been home watching the end of that. But here we are.
So where do you go from here, Ricky?
We're gonna go on to Charlotte. Charlotte's a really good racetrack for us. And
What about you and Kyle?
yeah, I don't have anything else for them. If we want to do a charity match, I would do that. Raise some money for maybe a NASCAR foundation or something. That would be fun. But really, other than that, I don't have a whole lot for them.
Thanks for talking.
Thank you,
Shannon.
Jamie Little, listen, if you need to be in the middle of any of the action, Jamie Little always seems to be there. Great job with that, Jamie, getting Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I think it's up to him as well for stopping and talking and kind of giving his side of the story. And he's kind of saying exactly
Honest.
what he's been saying all along. I don't think he'll be signing up for that charity.
No, and I don't think anyone really wants to watch either. Yeah, I just pulled him apart. We might want to watch him go at it.
Yeah.
See Stenhouse. I mean, he said, not a bad shot, not a Chastain. Great moment.
Dad getting there.
Yeah, everybody gets.
Oh my God, on victory lane, Ricky Senior in the fight. So Dad's still very present in this story.
And it's unfortunate that happened. It's exciting, I think, for us to watch.
Yeah.
But that's frustrating for them. And that's
Damn.
contact from that.
Bob. Bob was in the middle. Oh, jeez.
Race, they're going to go back and watch all the videos and all of these things. They're going to realize exactly what it is. We're kind of saying that it was a racing deal.
Bob Pockris in the middle. That just made my night. Oh, boy. That's hilarious. He had the most nervous face in the middle of that. Oh, man. What a way to wrap up the night. I'm not one for condoning violence. In a lackluster race, this definitely made some talking points out of it, I will say, for maybe, positive to negative reasons, I guess, depending on the way you look at it. But yeah, definitely still have somewhere to go with the short track package for NASCAR. They tried something different, but, it never really got anywhere with it tonight compared to what we thought, but it is a freshly repaved track. I wasn't expecting much fall off into the weekend. I think it was slightly overhyped, to be honest. Here's Ryan Blaney after finishing in 5th.
I thought we were good. We had to get creative on strategy, and we knew that. And that caution early just was like, okay, we got to get off sequence. We might pay the penalty later, but we thought it was the right call, and it really was. I wouldn't have been able to probably pass my way from 17th all the way to where we were. And just didn't get a good restart on the front row. Kind of spun my tires and still was in an okay spot. And then I about spun out into one, trying to get in there deep and downshift. And then I lost second, lost third, and just ended up 5th. So overall, good night. Happy for the 22 group. That's big for them and Ford. Get them in victory lane. And hopefully we can carry this momentum on to Charlotte next week. All right. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, good finish for Ryan Blaney. Good finish for the Fords, especially that guy right there.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Brad Keselowski's win might have opened up the floodgates for Fords this weekend. I wouldn't have expected that at all. I predicted them to win less than 2 races in the regular season. Now, this doesn't count as a points race, so that still might happen, but we'll have to see. Or not less than 2. I said 2 or less. I don't see them winning more than 2 races in the regular season. I said that after the Talladega race that they were unable to go to victory lane, and that's because there's only one more super speedway race left in the regular season at Daytona. So I was expecting, maybe they'll get like a random win somewhere else like they did at Darlington. We'll see if they get more though. Only 13 races to go in the regular season, of course. Again, congrats to Joey Logano winning tonight. We covered everything we needed to. We had a fight at the end, which extended our post race about an extra 15 to 20 minutes, and that is going to wrap it up. Appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. The only other thing we have to go through is the streaming schedule for next weekend. I'll actually pull that up on my phone. I'll have an easier time finding it there. So I'll turn the race broadcast off. I'll leave the finishing results up on the screen for the time being. Next weekend's live commentary schedule is a busy one. I'll actually have to Google the start time for the Indy 500 too, just to verify exactly when we'll go live for that. 12:45. So we'll go live at 12:30 for that. All right, so pretty sure I know the truck start time. I remember seeing that on the broadcast earlier today. Just got to get the cup practice start time for next week. Okay, so I was wondering if it was going to be a morning stream for cup practice and qualifying or an afternoon. It is morning, which is good for me because it's a late Friday night stream for the truck series. All right, so next weekend we have 5 live commentary streams just as we did this weekend, only obviously with the Indy 500, the 600 on the same day. That is added the 5th. Here is your live commentary schedule for next weekend's Coke 600 Indy 500 weekend. We'll start things off Friday night at 8:30 Eastern Time with our NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series live commentary coverage. We'll turn that over to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race on Saturday afternoon. That will begin at 1 p.m. Eastern Time with our NASCAR Cup practice and qualifying stream being later that evening at 5 p.m. So again, Truck Series race 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Friday night, and then our Saturday coverage, the Xfinity race at 1 p.m. Eastern, and Cup practice qualifying will actually be after the Xfinity race again at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Both practice and qualifying on the same stream there. And then, of course, the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 doubleheader next weekend. We'll go live for the Indianapolis 500 live commentary stream at 12:30 Eastern Time, about 15 minutes before the drop of the green flag. And we'll also go live at 5:30 p.m. Eastern for the Coca-Cola 600. Hope to see you guys for next weekend's events. It's going to be a long next weekend, but it'll be a fun one. Arguably the greatest weekend in all of motorsports. We get to see the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indy 500, which in my personal opinion is the biggest race in the history of motorsports. And of course the Coke 600, which is probably the second most prestigious race on the NASCAR schedule behind the Daytona 500 next weekend as well. So it'll be a big Memorial Day weekend. Hope to see you for that one. Appreciate all your support here this weekend, all the long streams with the rain delays and whatnot. So greatly appreciate it, everybody. Have a good one, and I'll see you back better than ever next weekend. Oh, hang on. We can't go yet. We're only we're 1 like away from our goal of 100. I was literally seconds away from ending this stream. We've done everything we needed to. We're only 1 like away from our goal of 100. I didn't realize we were that close. So be sure to hit the like button. Bob Pock, somebody roasted Bob in the chat. Parker's almost got hit by accident. He was in the middle of the melee. It was the funniest thing with that is like his head turned like to the camera and panned to Stenhouse and Bush. Like the punch happened and you just see like his face up in the camera like, it was hilarious. And then he was probably getting pushed out of the way by all the bodies shoving around everywhere. So yeah, it was poor Bob. Just trying to do his job in the middle of it. All right, we got to our goal of 100 likes. Thank you, everybody, for hitting our goal. 5 for 5 this week on that. Let's go 5 for 5 next week also. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.